Hello, I'm John Nelson, Vice President at BBI International and UAS Magazine. We're here today talking about the UAS Summit Expo taking place in Grand Forks, North Dakota at the Alerus Center, October 13th through the 14th. With me today, joining me, is Stacey Mesteth. She is the Insurance and Risk Advisor for Vaaler Insurance. And we're going to talk a little bit about the panel she's on, and it's called Risk Mitigation, Advice from Lawyers and Insurers. So, Stacey, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Briefly, can you talk a little bit about your role within the UAS industry and some of the things that you've been doing personally?
Okay, yes, absolutely. So, basically, where I concentrate is providing risk solutions to the UAS drone companies in the commercial sector. I have a physical space in North Dakota at, like you said, Vaaler Insurance, which is a Marsh McLennan agency. But I do offer services to clients not only all over the country, but internationally as well. So, risk in the kind of the scheme of risk mitigation, risk transfer, which is transferring that risk to insurance companies, it's part of what I do. Really trying to come up with whole risk mitigation plans and systems for companies is really where I try to help all of my clients and all the businesses and organizations that I work with.
What are some of the things that some of the companies that you've worked with, when you first visit with them, are most surprised that they haven't thought about a specific topic or some type of risk mitigation? What you probably come to them and say, "Hey, have you thought about this?" What is that point typically?
Well, it's kind of an interesting thing in the UAS drone sector, right? Because even though, business people that have worked in a military background think of drones and UAS as a sector as being there for quite a long time, as far as insurance and risk transfer options, it really is a newer option to look at those from a commercial standpoint. And a lot of those companies are newer. So it's kind of an interesting thing when you talk about what their needs are as a company, because most of these are kind of really a startup, whether or not in the last couple years or, 5-10 years. And their needs for risk transfer and risk mitigation have grown as the contracts they write commercially have grown. And those are where we're really seeing the surprises of what companies think that they need as they write more and more contracts in the commercial sector. And so whether it be the aviation insurance that everybody kind of understands the need for, right? That is the insurance of the drone up in the air. Then there's also aviation operations insurance, which would be what a lot of people would think of as general liability insurance, but for those operating in an aviation capacity, UAS capacity. And then things such as, professional liability, or when you start kind of marrying the aviation with the tech world, which is a lot of the companies have a software component or some sort of tech. Sure. They develop an app. Or actual new physical tech as well. Those are other needs that arise right into one of the most kind of hot button issues, which we talk quite a bit about on the panel, which will be the cyber liability. And this kind of the unique things that go along with those operating in the UAS sector have the relationship they would have with the cyber needs.
Okay, great. And that actually kind of leads into my second question, which really talks about what, if you are coming to the show and you're listening to your panel, again, it's called Risk Mitigation, Advice from Lawyers and Insurers at the UAS Summit. And your panel is the first day, October 13th. Listening to you and the other panelists, what will they take away from that? It sounds like it's going to be geared a little more towards on the cyber aspect. So can you just briefly go through that again? You talk quite a bit about it, so I'm guessing you're going to reiterate some of the stuff, but please.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So really, my best wish is that attendees will walk out of the session with a better understanding about what types of risk mitigation options are out there for them, commercial UAS business and organizations. Moreover, I hope that they will leave with a little bit of a confidence to start asking the questions needed to build their own risk management program. And that goes in with not only the risk transfer, which would be the insurance, but, surrounding yourselves with people that truly understand, whether it be people like Patrick and Matt, who are people that are going to be on the panel or moderating panel with me in their role as lawyers. When you start working, we will be talking about cyber insurance quite a bit, or cyber threats quite a bit, but also how that works into contracts that are being written, and making sure that you are in contract compliance as far regards of your risk management system as well. So that's kind of another thing that I know, people that are starting their businesses, newer business, or their businesses are growing quite a bit. Those are two areas that I definitely really hope that I can help people understand a little bit more about.
All right. And we have one more question. For people traveling to Grand Forks who have never been here, what is one restaurant you would recommend them to visit while here?
Okay, well, I am really excited to see the new Harry's Steakhouse, if that will be open, hopefully by October. But otherwise, for sure, always a must-have would be Ellie's Ivy, for sure,
Excellent.
downtown.
I agree. Both excellent choices. Again, it's Stacey Mesteth. She is the Insurance and Risk Advisor at Vaaler Insurance. She will be speaking at the UAS Summit here in Grand Forks, October 13th. We hope you can join us, and thanks again for sharing your insights with us, Stacey, and we look forward to seeing you at the show.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, John.